Easter, all of my dear, dear friends and viewers. Hello, how are you? It is so good to see each and every one of you. So today, I'm surprised to see as many people as are here, but I figured I'm not going to be doing anything special for Easter, and I would certainly much rather spend this time with y'all. So I've got bunches of things to show, and when I finish showing you what I want to show you, I'm just going to sew and iron and just spend time, and you can come and go. You can, if you're watching this later, it may be something that's just nice background noise while you're sewing. But I have some things that are making me feel very excited to work on coming up. And I can't, let me see all who is here. And wait till you see Kathy Klein entered one of her quilts in a show and got a ribbon. So I'll be showing you that later today. Okay. Oh, hi. All right, so Marsha's here and Debbie's here. And Sonia, sweetie, is here. And I got something. Well, never mind. I've got to keep that private. But Sonia will know when I tell her something a little later on. And Debbie and Jody and Judy Smith, Kathy Klein. Hi, Pamela. Oh, Pamela Sherman, it's so nice to see you. That's fantastic. Well, we're excited to see you. And I don't know if y'all have heard, but I've decided to just kind of leave an open Jitsi thing for every Saturday. And it's going to be informal. I have the Jitsi link posted. It's stuck right up there. And anybody who would like to come in and hope to find a buddy to chat with or just sew with. Because, you know, we do miss the fact that we are not, some of us, because of COVID. I'm trying to get the camera just right. And I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. But it was better before. Should have left it alone. I want you to be able to see the crazy Easter egg, my wreath, the two little Easter things to make sure you know it's Easter. But I'm going to leave the Jitsi as just whoever has the time and wants to show up. So the link is always pinned near the top of our Groups IO. And if you aren't a member of our Groups IO and would like to join, then send me an email to OurTimeTo. Whoops. I have to click on it before it will type it. But there are two things you can do. Hi, Michelle. I'm hoping my son will have plenty. They're back to performing, so I'm hoping they'll have plenty at concerts. OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. Now, I put that up. If you'd like to join our Groups IO group, it's like one of the old Yahoo groups, but it's the new Groups IO. There's always a link to the sit-in chats, and the nice thing is you don't have to type. You just talk. And some of us know how to talk a lot. Poor Sonia and Jody. But anyway, or if you'd rather not join the Groups IO, but you'd like to come visit us for the sit-in chat, then use that email and say, hey, could I have a link to the sit-in chat? And it's preferable that you do it by Friday night because sometimes I don't look at the computer early on Saturday. So yeah, it's just nice to just be able to sit and visit, and we get to know each other a little bit more that way. And things like you can hear Sonia's sewing machine sing to you, or you get to see Jody's amazing cat, Gracie, who's such a love bug and likes to get in her way anytime she can. So there's all kinds of things like that you'll get to see about all of us. So anyway, so much to tell you about. So excited. And Friday, I decided I had to tackle the taxes. And I agreed to do it. And I spread out stuff over a table. It might have been less stressful if I hadn't done it 3 days before it was due. But, I can procrastinate with the best of them. And it was horrible. I would have rather had 2 root canals. Yes, I would have. But I got it all done. And, part of the problem is I don't speak IT language. I don't speak tax language. And when they ask me something, it's not quite clear enough for me. I'm very linear in that way. And it's like torture. And honest to goodness, I started as soon as I got up and got going. I finished at 11:40 that night. So, enough is enough, and I hate it. So, but luckily, I didn't have to pay any for state and only paid very little for federal, so I am happy, and that shows how much my income has gone down. But anyway, I have it done for this year. I can take a deep breath. But Mark did say, Deb, is there a way that we can make it easier? And so I'm going to work up a sheet. The thing that's hard for me is finding all the doctor payments, all the hospital payments, all the insurance payments, all of the property tax and all that. And I do as they come in, I put them in a folder. But then things like, when did you pay that payment? So I'm going to make a spreadsheet, and each time I make a payment, I'm just going to take a moment to go into the program and log it in. That should make things so much easier, because I don't like going to the online bank, bringing up 21 statements and going through every statement 3 times, because I went through for this and went, oh, I didn't check that. So anyway, isn't that fun? So let's move past that. But I told some people, you have flutes. My sister's a flautist. So that is neat. But Thursday, just to recap, I had a day out with my daughter and my granddaughter, and we went to a wonderful place called Windsong Pottery. If you live anywhere, exactly, Marcia, they're so much fun. He uses a spreadsheet. Okay, Debbie, you have a smart husband. I'm going to smarten up this year. And some people say, well, have somebody else do the taxes. Well, you still have to gather all that information. But I do want to say, I'm very thankful to the state of North Carolina, because they have this thing called the Bailey Settlement. And it means if you are living off of a civil service retirement or, something like that, you don't have to pay taxes on that. So thank you, North Carolina. But anyway, so Windsong Pottery, it's down in Denton, which is like below High Point and below Lexington, North Carolina. Really pretty. The other night, Thursday night, I tried to say Asheboro. I couldn't get that word out to save me. But there is a huge pottery place in Seagrove, which is near Asheboro. And we have a big zoo that's there too. And I can't wait to go back there. But this Windsong Pottery was so nice because it was only an hour from my house. And I highly recommend, if you come that way, please give them a visit. So when we went there, we bought a few things, and I'm trying to be so careful. This is a nice, sturdy, beautiful, and I was drawn. They have a signature glaze that is gorgeous. It's kind of bronze and blue, but since I'm getting ready to do indigo dyeing, I was drawn to these because they look like indigo. Okay, so I bought this at full price for $8, and I love stuff like this. And I've got to decide if I'm brave enough to hang it outside because it is so beautiful. I love this. And I should show you one day because I've gotten bisqueware and painted them. And I've got a sun and a moon out there already. Now, these are ornaments for the tree. Look at this. And these were from the seconds table. Like there was something about them that they didn't quite believe passed muster, which, oh, they're gorgeous for me. So I bought a couple extra so my 2 children that live further north can have a treat from our day. Then look at this beautiful bowl. I saw this and was drawn to it. And, you know, pottery can be expensive, but remember, each piece is a unique work of art, and we need to support our artists. So that's why I bought some things, you know, tried to find something. But see this little dot right there, and it's a little dark here? I guess that's what they thought maybe was a defect, but I got this for $5. I love it when artists will have a rejects table so that people like me who are on a fixed budget of sorts can afford to get something absolutely beautiful. And this, isn't this beautiful? I love it. And yes, it had a big chip out of it. But for a reduced price, for only $5, I love it. And I wasn't going to use it utility-wise anyway. I just want to sit it there and look at it. But I'm so impressed with their work. Look at the braided handle. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So I saw the potter's wheel. They throw these themselves. These are thrown pottery. You can always tell because you can kind of barely see the mark where the little thing they use to smooth it goes up the side of the piece. So these are all thrown because you can barely see the working marks. And this is, it says Windsong, and Margie was this potter. And Margie, your work is gorgeous. I wish I could have met her, but the shop was open, but it's kind of come in. If you see something you like, leave your money here. It was lovely on a beautiful farm. So I highly recommend. So that was wonderful. Then I've gotten some things in for the indigo dyeing because I was hoping to get it done Thursday, but my stuff didn't get in time. And so let me show you. I always read the instructions thoroughly before you get ready to do something because I ordered the indigo dye and I knew I needed soda ash. Well, I have soda ash anyway because I do regular Procyon dyeing. But then as I started to read more about it, it talked about sodium hydrosulfite. There it is. Okay. So, oh, Michelle has that jug. You must have gone to the same place. It's beautiful, isn't it? So I had to get, this is a pound. I love how it's vacuum packed. So I said, oh, I've got to go online to get this. Well, I went and looked here and there and this place, okay, they could get it to you, but the shipping was $14.99 and it is, I mean, it's a pound. This place shipped it in 2 days for like $10.99. Now, the product only costs $10.39. And to me, it's like, oh, to pay that much for shipping. But you know what? It's a business. They've got to be able to cover the shipping costs, which we know have gone up crazily. So I now have this. I will be following the directions to mix it with the pre-reduced indigo that I have. Now, I want to tell you something. The pre-reduced indigo, it's where some people say it's not real indigo. Well, if you got real indigo as such, you have to use lye and make a paste. As a whole process. It's not an easy process, and most people don't indigo dye. But now what they've done is they've been able to reduce the indigo with other ways. It is still chemically exact to indigo, but if that saves me from having to use caustic chemicals, and if I had to do the reducing myself, I wouldn't bother. I mean, like, come on. So I'm happy with it. To me, it's real indigo. It's as real as I'm going to get. And so I've got this now. So that's right. I've got to go to get a 5-gallon bucket with a nice tight fitting lid. And I wanted something tall for indigo. What I'm kind of sharing to you what I'm trying to find along the way. Indigo, the dye process needs oxygenation. So what you want to do is when you make the dye bath, you don't want a horizontal or wide container, because you want to keep it to have the batch still work. You need to keep as much oxygen out of the batch, the liquid, as possible. So there's certain ways of like squeezing the air out of the fabric, putting it into the water underneath. Then when you take it out, squeeze it under the water, not to introduce oxygen, and then pull it out of the bucket fast, okay? And that's all, because any splashes, any squeezing of it over the indigo dye bath introduces oxygen, and that will cause the dye bath to go off. Oh, Marsha, you're so cute. It'll cause the dye bath to go off sooner. So I thought, okay, then let's get a 5-gallon bucket so it's deep enough that when I do the fabric gathering on PVC, that I can get it down in there. But the less water surface that you have for the dye container, guess what? The less chance of getting oxygen in. The bigger the surface, the more chance of contaminating the dye water. So I've been doing my research, and I'm probably not going to be able to dye until the end of this week, because tomorrow's high is like 40 degrees, 42 degrees. It's crazy. And then by next Sunday, it'll be 85 degrees. So, but what I'm going to do is spend this next few days researching more and more, and really taking notes. And I will share all this knowledge that I gather with you. So if you ever want to try it. And also, I'm hoping to make enough to be able to either sell charm squares or something like that to anybody who would like to have indigo fabric but doesn't want to have to go through everything I'm going through. Because so far, it's like $22 for the reduced indigo. This, with shipping, was $23. Luckily, I already bought the soda ash, but that's an expense. I spent almost $65 on fabric. And then I've got to spend almost $10 on a bucket and lid. So, and I didn't even tell you this. The PVC, oh my God, I thought it's just a little plastic pipe. That shouldn't cost much. It'll be at least $15 for me to get a 2-foot piece, about 3 inches in diameter. Are you kidding me? So as you can see, it adds up pretty quickly. So anyway, but I'll try to keep them just to cover cost, because y'all are my friends. So anyway, but I wanted to tell you, so where I found this, because I like passing on the good, the kudos where I can. I wanted to find the most, you have to use 2 parts of this to 1 part indigo. So if I have 8 ounces of indigo, I should have at least a pound of the sodium hydrosulfite. Sodium hydrosulfite, okay? So that's why I got a pound. Well, trying to find a pound, people will sell it to you by an ounce or 2 here. I found this company, and they had the best shipping, Raw Materials Art Supplies. I was so happy with them. Now, let me see real quick. You can always go and type in raw materials. Okay. And they're in LA. I'm shocked that they got it to me so fast. I love it. They put thanks on the order form. They included actually 3 of these. One of them says Jacquard because that's who makes the sodium hydrosulfite. And then a couple little stickers. These are little stickers, which I love. I save them for grandkids. And then they also put a wonderful pencil in it. Look at this. And you know what I love about this pencil? You can see it from a mile away, so you won't lose it. But isn't that nice? I just love how companies are really appreciating your business. And doesn't get better than that. So I love giving shout outs to good service and good companies. And like I say, it got here so fast. Oh, I haven't shown you yet my Happy Easter basket. This is Mark and mine. This is his Godiva chocolate bunny. And then mine are the Hershey's peanut butter Easter eggs. And I'm going to let him have some of these too. And the malted balls. That is good. Now, there's plenty of other Easter candy that I love, but being type 2 diabetic, it's like pick out 2 of your favorite and eat them a little bit at a time. So I'm going to be very, very good. But anyway, happy Easter, everyone. And I'm a kid at heart. So, of course, I'm going to have an Easter basket. All righty. Then here is, I came down and I said, I painted all of those. These I did separately to sit on the table on top of the Easter egg big thing I did up top there. These, I said, I'll do a different color and do some different techniques because I think I showed y'all a picture. And so I did a pale teal and did a paler teal stripe. Then this is a swirl around the teal egg. See the swirl? Then this one, I did half of the pale and half. I just love looking up to see what have people thought? What cool things have they done? And this is where I did like a quarter of, there you go. That's the best side to show. And then this one was a stripe right down the middle. So half light, half medium. And this is my favorite because I just love checkerboards. I think it's so pretty. So I came down here and I had to puff up the contents of the basket, but then, so I just used some white fabric. No, actually it's white tissue paper. But then I saw all my scraps from the curved piecing, and I said, wouldn't that be cool? So think about it sometimes. I hate the artificial, I hate this stuff. I hate it. So what could be more colorful and more artistic-like than use your thin scraps of fabric to put your eggs in? So That's my hint of the day. And it just made me happy. I smile. Now, here is my wreath, and I will put pictures on the site. I repainted these puppies at least 3 times because I couldn't quite get the colors right. Hi, Mary, you are here. Okay, let me bring you down here and let me zoom you into that wreath. But I will also put up pictures. Whoops, Mary has seen the close-up pictures because I mailed them to her. Oops, Deb, keep your arm still. But you see that I did 5 or 6 of each color. And on one, I did, well, this is special, but usually I would do a big dotted polka dot egg. Then I would do some, what do you call that, chevron shapes with dots, and then some little swirls. And here I did, this one I did some leaves. So I really like this. And I'm going to take some, look at this pretty blue one, but I only did 2 or 3 of the specialty ones, and then let the ones with color just be the anchor. And that's something, whoa, you don't want to see me that close. That is something new for me. It's called restraint and editing. And so that's a little new for me. And I saw it in a photo. I looked at so many, ideas, and I thought, yes, the old me would have decorated all of them, and then it would have been a busy mess. Now it makes them special. So, and I use that little paint bottle with the metal tip that I talked to you about. It made quick work of them. I love the colors. I used the homemade gesso, and that helped. Now, if you put hot glue on them and peel it off, it's going to peel the paint off. But otherwise, they are sturdier than just trying to put acrylic paint right on the shiny plastic egg. But do be careful, because I dropped one of the eggs I had just put hot glue on an egg, and I dropped it onto my arm. And I was so worried about picking up. That egg before it fell on the carpet that I didn't attend to my arm right away. And when I peeled the glue off, it took some skin. So I'm being very good to it, keeping my Band-Aid on it. It's like, Deb, I tell you, next time I'm going to have to put a hazmat suit on my whole body, because I still have my safety glove. Because remember, a year ago, I cut my hand twice. What? I mean, really, Deb? So now I've been telling you I'm going to redo the cover on my ironing board. I know, Michelle, I am so silly, aren't I? And so I've got my fabric. I went and got it from Joann Fabrics. It was on sale. So I've been talking to Mark about when can we do it. And what happens is this is a dresser I bought off of Craigslist. And then we cut a piece of plywood for the top, and it's screwed up through the inside of the dresser. So to take the top off so that I can staple a new cover on means he's got to take out the drawers and be able to get the screws out. So we will do it. But I told him, I said, how about right after I do my show? And then that way I can get that video done and try to get it up this week. I forget who it was who wanted the video of how do you make a big ironing board. I would never use a normal ironing board to quilt unless I had to. They just move around too much. One end is pointy. Buying this dresser, I probably paid a whole $50 for the dresser. Then we got this piece of plywood, and it's 5/8 to 3/4. It's a nice thickness of plywood. And we made it as big as we could to fit the space. And then remember that you have to use cotton batting because you want to put at least one layer. You don't want your ironing board smushy. That'll mess up your piecing. It'll mess up your seam allowances and everything because it'll be too cushy. You want it firm, but to have just a little barely something. So I covered it with cotton. If you put polyester batting on, it's going to melt when you iron on it. So cotton batting. And then I take, and I love this stuff. I have it on every table. Michelle will tell you, I love this measuring sticky tape. I need to get some more, but I love this. So I run this along the edge of the ironing board on the front edge. And that way I can measure when I'm ironing. I have it across the front of my sewing machine desk. I have it on the tables. If people want to come and sew, I put it on my cutting board, and it's just sticky measuring tape. I know Missouri Star has some, maybe some other places, and it is wonderful. So I will be putting, after I put my new cover on, I'll be putting the new sticky tape. I will make a video of that so it'll give you a hint. And I'm the one that does the stapling, so I'll show you exactly what it takes to do the stapling of the new cover. I love this Teflon because it reflects back the heat, which means it it does double duty for your pressing. And if you have any questions or comments, please write in. Oh, you noticed the tape measure right away. Yeah, I have it everywhere. And especially in the front here, because if I do a quick measurement to know, about how big the top is at that point, I also take a marker, and at every foot mark, I'll put how many feet so far, like from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, all of that. Anything to make it easy and quick so I can do more of the fun stuff. Woo, it just got warm. You might have noticed that on the floor, when I showed you the front of the dresser, I have a stack of freshly washed scraps. And back when I did the shaving cream dyeing and something I did wrong and the colors didn't stick right, I've washed them twice. And speaking of that, sodium hydrosulfite is a color remover. Isn't that unusual? So besides doing whatever it needs to for the indigo, it's a color remover. And so I was looking, to see, can I find it somewhere locally? Sometimes a liquid color remover might have it in it, but it might be like a peroxide product too. So but that gives you an opportunity. But I would look at what are the ingredients to make sure it's really that. So, but I've got these fabrics down, and I thought when we finish talking about our exciting things, I might do something as mundane as just sit here and iron those to have them ready. Those small pieces I'm going to start folding and manipulating so I can get some really cool designs when I do the indigo dyeing. All right. Now, so let me get my newest things that are going to be part of the indigo dyeing. I told Mark when I went through the statements to do the taxes, I saw that just about every month I put in a fabric order, even though supposedly I'm cutting down. So it was good to see that, laid out that way. But he calls me the nickel and dime spender. I'm afraid to spend too much, but the nickels and dimes add up too. So I realized, yeah, okay, I better be, watch that. So, because he's going to want to retire. And then we'll, have two fixed incomes. So, oh, and here's the Jacquard sticker that they included. So, a couple weeks ago, I put in an order from Fire Mountain Jewelry, and I just love this bag. It was $1. I just love this bag of assorted buttons. Isn't that wonderful? And like I said, I didn't inherit any buttons, so I don't have that many. And you remember real quickly that I told you I had a gift certificate from judging two quilt shows. So I got this fabric. I am about positive that I'm going to make a blouse out of this. The hand is just so beautiful. It's hard to believe it's cotton. It is dreamy. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to use. And someone had said they knew of the fabric. It is called Cosmos by the Ruby Star Society. I had never heard of Ruby Star Society, but somebody said, oh yeah, they knew about that. And it's absolutely beautiful. So I've got to decide, But then I thought I would show you, I showed you a little bit. And the only reason I normally don't buy fabric this way, because I'm too cheap. But what a joy to have a gift certificate and be able to get this beautiful fabric. It's just so cute. And that's the thing. This store, it's at the Ronaldo Village. So it is a fancy store, and they sell some pretty unique fabric. So I thought this was lovely. This is the last time I'll be able to show you, but I love, it's so much fun when I get to buy something like that. Then I think I told you that at Mark's work, they had a thank you for perfect attendance or something, and they did a nice dinner that, due to COVID, we could pick up and bring home. But there was a flower arrangement that was beautiful. And look at this. Isn't that cool? That's too pretty to throw away. So I'm going to find a dry arrangement that I already have and add this to it. But I was going to show you, I love it when you get the everlastings, the flowers that you can dry carefully. And then there were 3 roses, this peachy red, a deep red, and a beautiful yellow. And I'm letting these dry in this box. And I have a desiccant package in it. But I'm just laying them in here and letting them gently dry. Now, what am I going to use those for? In my laundry room, I have a lot of ingredients to make my own paper. And so what I have to do is I found a sturdy picture frame about, so big. And if Mark staples or I can do it myself, staple the window screen into the frame, I'm going to take a blender and I'm going to blend up some pulp and then put some of the beautiful, I have a bag of dry flowers that have kept enough color that when I kind of crunch them up and lay them in, it should make really pretty paper. So what the thing is, Charlene Lawson's here, and I've got a picture from Charlene Lawson. So I love all kinds of things. And when I see spring happening, I'm thinking, ooh, one of the things I've been saving, have you ever gone to a drive-through restaurant and the drink holders that are made of like a real pulpy thing? I've got a stack, I know 4 feet tall of them. And that's going to be a lot of the basis. And I'll probably have to bleach it a little bit carefully, but I'm looking forward to it. And I've saved old phone books, and I just have to be able to grind it up. And, I've got finished reading how to do it, but I would love to make some homemade paper. All right, but that's another day. But just letting you know, that's why I save dried flowers. So then I said, okay, I've got some scraps prepared for dyeing fabric. Prepared for dyeing fabric just means it doesn't have the chemicals on it that make it look pretty on a bolt, and makes it easier to be handled at the factory, easier to roll on a bolt, and it's things like the sizing and stuff that are on it. Well, you don't want that on the fabric if you're going to dye it, because it'll act as a resist and not let the dye fully penetrate the fibers. And what makes it color fast is if it can become one with the fibers. So besides having some scraps, I found the best deal on Missouri Star Quilt Company, which is Michelle's favorite. And she turned me on to Missouri Star, and I just love them all. So this is 2 yards of prepared for dyeing, and I just get the white. You can get specially bleached white and all that. I didn't really need that. I just got the white, the normal. And the reason I got the fabric the way I did is Missouri Star, last Sunday, I think it was, or the Sunday before, they had a pop-up sale saying 30% off or 25% off any 5 yards of fabric. And usually it would be 5 yards of one fabric. Oh no, you could mix and match. Love them. So here is, and I love it too because I can get it in a 2-yard strip. I don't know yet, or no, this might be 2 separate pieces. So this is 2, whoop, no, I'm not. No, I'm wrong. It is 1 piece, 2 yards long, which is a nice little bonus because then I can decide what size pieces I want. So now I can use that. I have to wet it before I put it in, but it doesn't feel as smooth either. And I do believe it's Kona cotton. Let me see. Yep, it's Kona prepared for dyeing. And now I was looking, because I'm cheap, for the very best value. Because, you know, I had to tell Mark I wanted to buy this. So get your best value in gear. Oops, be careful when you open your pack. No, I didn't do that. Okay, I was worried that I might have cut it because there's a little teeny sliver. Oh, maybe, no. Maybe I did cut it. I don't know. No, this is where they cut it. It's the edge. Never mind. So I found that Missouri Star sells prepared for dyeing fabric in 108 inches wide. And you know, you think about if you're on a budget like I am, if you can find 108-inch wide fabric on sale, it will equal about little over 2.5 yards, or actually 2 2/3 almost yards of regular 44, 45-inch fabric. So depending on the sale, check that out because you can save money. So I bought the 108-inch wide, 3 yards of it. And so by buying that, 3 times 2, over 2.5, 6, it's between 7.5 and 8 yards. So that's really pretty good. And but I sat down and did the math and figured out, you know. Then I added the price and compared the price, because you used to be able to get prepared for dyeing fabric for $6.25 or $6.75. Now it's $7.25 and $7.99. So by buying it this way, I saved even more. I got it for close to $6 a yard. And every bit that I can spend is more I can do. So anyway, all right. Now, they had this on sale, and this is the iron off. And since I'm not the neatest type, Michelle, tell them my iron was almost always dirty. Michelle is very quality piecer, and she keeps her equipment in the best shape. And you know me, I'm kind of willy-nilly all over the place. But anyway, this was like $2 and something. So I got some more of this iron-on. I like it because it's a hot iron cleaner. So you look at your iron one day, you've been using it, and you go, oh my gosh, that's a mess. You take and put a little bit of this on a rag, and it just melts it away. So I do love this. This is made by Dritz, and it's called Hot Iron, Iron Off Iron Cleaner. Works really good. And I know that some people say if you use used dryer sheets, that's another thing. And so anyway, love Missouri Star Quilting. And so now I'm getting stuff ready. Well, there was one more thing. Alex Anderson is doing this neutrals quilt along. Now, hi, Miss Barbara. It's so good to see you. I told myself, I'm not finished with the Alex Anderson hand embroidered project, and I'm loving it. I've learned so much. It's been a great thing to do. And when I saw her come out, and already, now we have ladies on here like Charlene Lawson, like Jody, who are doing the quilt show block of the month. It is challenging with a capital C. But I thought, okay, I'm trying to be, are you doing the neutral quilt too? Yay, I've got some buddies. Charlene, we'll have to get together sometime and do a jitsi and just sit and sew together. But I kept telling myself, Deb, do you know you've got over 100 UFOs? You really should be getting some of your other stuff done. Well, then, so when I first saw this a few weeks ago, I went, nope, I'm not starting another project. I've got too many things to finish. Well, then one night when Mark was gone, I watched the Alex Anderson episode 1 of this. I saw it again and thought, oh God, I love that quilt. I've never done a neutral quilt, but look at this. I love this. It has got 4 patches, half square triangles. 4 patches and half square triangles are what makes up this row. Then this row, it's got a long stripe, and I can call you Barb, all good. And it's got like this long strip here, and then you see the applique flowers. And there's something about it. Alex it is just charming. There's something about it. Look at the edge, and there's plenty of space to do really nice quilting. So I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. Deb, you are too easy, girlfriend. I mean, you just can get talked into anything. And so I went over and I looked in my closet to see if I had enough grays and tans and khakis. And I know I've got bulk white. And so I looked and thought, I can do this. I can do it for my stash. When I tell Mark, he'll go, great, you're using your stash. Well, I went to thequiltshow.com to get the pattern. And I thought, oh, the pattern's probably going to be too expensive, and then I won't be able to do it. The downloadable pattern was only $7.99. It's all conspiring against me. I'm trying to be good, and it conspires against me. So, of course, I had to buy the pattern. So then I'm still thinking, I can just use my stash. And then I start reading, and it says something about a grunge solid, 3 1/4 yards. 3 1/4 yards? Well, I don't buy 3 1/4 yards of any one fabric unless it's pure white, pure black, or pure cream. Because if I really like it, I buy a yard. I don't have 3¼ yards. So then I said, and then I was reading. Now, for some of you who aren't so cheap like me, you can buy the fabric kit that includes the pattern for $129 on the Quilt Show. And that way you have all the nice fabrics and the pattern picked, beautifully curated, ready to go. But I'm cheap. So I looked and it said 10 to 20 fat quarters total. The quilt can be made with as few as 10 neutral fat quarters, but I encourage you to use more for better variety. And I thought, you're right. If it's a neutral, having the different fabrics is what gives it the texture and the excitement. The colors are not there for that, so you have to make up for it a different way. I look back in my stash, and I don't have. And the color palette's going to be in between a cream, maybe a little bit of a mocha, light mocha chocolate, and a lot of grays, some white backgrounds. So it's a narrow color palette. So I'm sitting there thinking, Debbie, I guess I need to watch. Yes, because it is just so beautiful. So I'm sitting there thinking, I've just spent a good amount of money on all this indigo dyeing. What am I going to do? And then I remembered a sweetest pie who shouldn't have done it. Christmas elf gave me a gift certificate to Fat Quarter Fabrics. Yes. And I feel guilty because I don't want you to feel like you have to give me anything at all. But then I thought, but I could get what I need to do this project. And so I looked around and looked in the sale thing and all that. But I found the grunge that I think they're using for the Alex Anderson variety. And I ended up buying 108-inch wide piece of the grunge, 3.5, enough to be 3.5 yards. So it was like 1.5 yards. Actually, it's going to probably give me 4 yards altogether. And see, that's where it can cut. It's cheaper that way. And then I found other grays and whites and different things. Oh, and I needed a yard of a darker gray. And I think it's going to be more of this color, which would kind of be nice, but it's not solid because you don't want anything too dark. It's like a pattern. But anyway, so I was able to get several other fat yards. And I said, see? He goes, that's great. But I made it work. And I want to thank my elf. She knows who she is. And don't do it again, but thank you, because now you're going to get to see me working on that. So if anyone else, yeah, see, there you go. I got a birthday coming up. I can ask for fabric. But if anyone else would like to work on, I'm going to have to catch up. And luckily, I just ordered the Fat Quarter fabric a couple days ago. It's going to be in tomorrow. So what I'm going to just get busy and start tomorrow is cutting fabric day. And I'm going to be cutting fabric. So if anyone else is working on this and wants to do a Jitsi, shoot me an email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. And we can just sew together. We can just sit there and work on it and chitter-chat if you'd like. So if you're working on that, or just if you're working on anything like that, give me a holler. Tell me when you're available. And let's see if we can't sew together, because it is nice. And I'll try not to talk too much. I promise. All right. Your neutral quilt, you can make a colorful neutral quilt. That is absolutely. It's just the sweetest pattern. I love it. So, and you know what I would do too? Let's say if you did this in color, I mean, because it is a sweet pattern. What I would do is with the background, I would take whatever different color lights you have or darks, whatever, and do it in, multiple shades, which I love nowadays. I love having that interest. So, have I talked myself through all of this? And I've got to say, I have been so busy this week, and with the taxes and going off, had my second booster shot, arm's doing great. It was a little sore for a day and a half. Definitely worth being safe. Because, the other new variant of COVID, COVID is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? But the latest one is starting to rise again in cities. But if you've been vaccinated, and especially if you've been boosted, you might feel a little for a day or two. So my doctor said, absolutely, get that second booster, then you can relax. You've done everything you can. So I've had no side effects from shots, neither has Mark. The only thing we might have is one day of a little bit of a sore arm. Not nearly as bad as tetanus vaccine. Not nearly. So I would say go do it, because then you get a little, like Mark went to the store this morning. He said, I'm torn. Should I wear a mask? I said, well, we don't have the rise in cases yet here. DC, New York, the larger areas are having the rise in cases. And I said, honey, we've had 2 vaccinations and 2 boosters. We've done all we can. Don't wear a mask. Just go in and shop. He said, okay. Okay. I'm going to go without a mask. And he did. And it's like, at some point, we've got to start living again. And we've done everything we can. Yeah. And the more shots you have, I feel like the less sore you get. But 3 of the 4 shots I didn't even feel. The 4th one, I felt a little bit of a pinch just because she had just wiped the alcohol over my arm. I mean, we're talking nothing. And I've had much worse, trust me. All right, so now I think I've kind of talked about everything. I am absolutely adoring the space quilt, the curvy thing. Oh my gosh. People are still wearing masks there. Yeah, it just depends on what it's like where you are. My favorite thing to do for myself is to go to the movies. Go sit in the movie theater, and I like to go during the day when hardly anybody is there. Go to the movie theater, sit in there in that dark, get a big thing of popcorn and a big soda, and just when the lights go down, you're lost in a movie. And I told Mark, now that I've had my second booster, I'm going to treat myself to a movie. And I told him I probably should go soon, because if the variant's coming around, that way I can kind of skip that. But, talking about things. And if you're coming in today and going, wait a minute, she's not teaching anything right now, she's just gabbing. It's Easter Sunday. So we're just having fun. And I encourage y'all to tell me things, write things, let me know. But Kathy Klein got her second booster. It was easy, wasn't it? I mean, it's like now, and you know what? Every year I get a flu shot. Every year I'm going to have to get a COVID shot. It's just the way it is. And thank God for immunizations. I told you the story of the most beautiful woman that I met at the sewing shop. And I noticed she was always in an electric wheelchair. And so one day she said something, and it let me feel like maybe I could ask her. And I said, how did you become paralyzed? And she said, when I was a baby, you were just very tired. There you go. When I was a baby, she said, 6 months old, I had to go in the hospital for something. They didn't know that one of the other patients on the ward had polio. They hadn't diagnosed it yet. She got polio and has lived in a wheelchair the rest of her life. You know, we're so lucky. We don't actively remember people in iron lungs and people dying and people in wheelchairs. The polio vaccination worked. And do you know they did vaccinations in Ben Franklin's day, in George Washington's day? They did smallpox vaccinations. And I'll tell you this, I just watched the, what's his name? He did Ken Burns. I watched the Ken Burns special on Benjamin Franklin. He had a little boy that he adored. Well, when they were doing the vaccinations, they called them inoculations. When they were doing those for the smallpox, he said, "Oh, my son has a little cold. We'll wait." Well, his son got smallpox and died. And he said that was the biggest regret of his life, that he didn't get that child vaccinated. So I'm happy. It's good. I've done everything I can. If I get it now, well, whatever. But, hopefully I won't be hospitalized and I just might feel a little off for a bit. But I've done everything I can do. All right. So I think what I might do first, do you have any questions for anything? Yeah, I was born in 1956. Yes. And I'll give you a hint. I share a birthday with Harry Truman. Give him hell, Harry. So that's all I'm going to tell you. So 1956. As I say when I go to pick up my prescriptions and they say, "What is your date of birth?" And I go, "A long time ago." So, look at Mary. Mary is delightful. I hope you get a chance to have a jitsi with Mary. She is the cutest thing. So, wow. Laura's 1954. Wow. So, I can remember when I was the young gal at all the quilt meetings. And now, it's changed. You're a 1954. Look at all these 1954s. That must have been a great year. Or horny year. I'm not sure. But that was a great year. And I'm so glad all of you are here. All right. So I think what I'm going to do first, would anybody like to see more of what I'm doing? Oh, I've got your photos to show. Let's do those first. Then when we come back from the photos, and I want to show, the 1950s, it just happens to be, I want to show, I don't know why it didn't want to show Debbie's comment. I love it. And if you are one of our wonderful gals and you happen to get your comment removed, it's not me. I have very few, the algorithm that decides what gets through and what doesn't. I'll give you an example. Kathy Klein, awesome lady. In some of her emojis, she has scissors. Well, that seems to worry them. So if you get edited, I apologize. It is not us. Charlene Lawson, 1943. Now, Charlene, I'm going to tell on you. She's the most prolific quilter I've ever seen. And if she, born in 43, can do it, I got to up my game. Charlene's going to make me up my game. Barbara Smith, 1953. Oh, I love it. And Charlene Lawson says, "Oh, we're all youngsters." May of 1957. I'm May of 56. Mark was a 57 baby. Yes, I married a younger man. He likes to tell me that all the time. When he met me, We met in our late 40s, and he said, I was just going to become a grandma. And he said, I'm sorry, I'm too young to date a Nana. So, oh, Jody is a mere child. Oh, my goodness. Good, good. Yeah, I had to click, Debbie, on your comment because it kind of paused it like, should I show it or hide it? And I said, show it. Kathy Klein. Now, Kathy Klein, you look young for your age because I have seen you on a Jitsi. So, oh, good. Okay. Sonia is oh my gosh. Sonia is a baby too. When I look at people born in the 60s, I think a baby, a mere child. You know what? I got to be honest. And lately my shaking hand has gotten worse. And trying to use a mouse and I'm dominant left hand drives me nuts. And then aches and pains and, the whole thing. Missing a kidney, the whole thing. And I think, finally got my head screwed on right, and now my body's going to fall apart. Isn't that life? I tell you. Hi, Kim. Oh, Kim is another youngster. Oh, my goodness. So, all right, so let's do photos. And Charlene Lawson got married in 61. Oh, my. I was about at the age, I remember, okay, I'm dating myself. I was raised in Norfolk, Virginia as a young child and then moved to Virginia Beach. But there is the MacArthur Memorial in Norfolk because, he was this big general, and Norfolk, Virginia is a military city. And when he passed, they had his body lying in state in the rotunda of the MacArthur Memorial. And my mother took me to see. And we'd all file in and walk around that circle. I was little. So all I remember is there was a box up on the stage with all these flags and his great big nose sticking up. All I remembered was he had a big nose. Is that wrong to tell you that? Oh my gosh. Oh, Lordy. You were married 54 years when your husband died. Oh, honey, that is a beautiful tribute. Oh, wow. Charlene, you're something else, girlfriend. You are something else. Okay, let's do some photos. When we come back, I'll show you some more about the curving. They said, I read an article said, what are the big trends for this year, 2022's quilting? Curves are almost number one. So if I can show you that and you see it places and you think, well, it looks cool, but I don't know. It's easy. I'll show you. All right. Well, I know. I had no idea who this guy was. All I knew is he had a big nose. Hey, Mitty. And Mitty, you do know you're a member of the group. I went and found you on there. So let's make sure that you feel comfortable around the site. Okay? All right, let's look at these photos of yours. And I've got to apologize to Miss Melanie. By the time this morning I remembered, I hadn't downloaded her photos. I didn't get very far. And I apologize because I love Miss Melanie. And I'm going to make sure that definitely a Jimmy Durante nose. Boy, have you got that right. Okay. Oh, you're trying to figure it out. At first, if you're not used to it, whoops, no, I didn't mean that. I meant this. Okay, here we go. All right. So, Betty, yes, I keep saying this is the last week, but I haven't taken the time to edit the photos. So, here is her beautiful swan. And Miss Jody, I think that one of our times coming up, I would like to do some things like this. And since you are the expert, the resident expert, I might pick your brain, hon. And there's her beautiful snowy landscape. Just lovely, lovely. Thank you, Miss Betty. Now let's see what else we have. Miss Charlene, who now, I tell you what, if we can't get it together, nobody can, because Miss Charlene's got it going. And in fact, she just had, I think, her son's wedding, and she was, I think, made a ring bearer's pillow for her. I mean, all kinds of things, that woman. Here is her Easter door hanging surprise. I love it how she took this beautiful panel. Boy, the things they're doing with panels now. They use the panels, and what is it they use? The special printing that makes it very precise. And I love the piano key border around it. And look at that beautiful lavender binding. And then I have a close-up of it right here. And somebody tell me, what is that called? That kind of digital printing, I think it is. But isn't that gorgeous? And if you ever are interested in finding a really unique piece of fabric, don't forget about Spoonflower. Spoonflower will print things for you. They have a whole library of prints that people have given them, and you can have, it's a little more pricey, but boy, you can buy just the inspiration fabric you need. This is Charlene Lawson's puppy, Holly, in her Easter dress. Is that just cute? Oh my gosh. I mean, that is beautiful fabric. I don't know if Charlene made it, but that is exquisite. And then last week she was working on a baby quilt for one of the babies in her family. Love, love, love it. So thank you, Miss Charlene. And then don't forget, she's also doing the quilt show block of the month and Alex Anderson's neutral quilt. So y'all are something else, I'll tell you. I love showing this because it shows that what learning to make, to cut, and sew curves can give you wonderful opportunities for landscapes. So these I was supposed to edit too, but they're always lovely to see again. All right, so now let's see who's next. I don't really think I have all that much. Let me see. Oh, okay, I do have something. Here is my daughter and granddaughter. We went to the pottery, Windsong Pottery, and then we went to Lexington and got lunch. So there's my daughter and her daughter. And now let me see what else. Okay. Here is the Easter egg wreath in progress. And it's a grapevine wreath. No, actually, this is a straw wreath covered in some moss and some rattan. And what I did is I painted and painted and painted, trying to get the right hues. I had to really, really, really work on it. And then I did 5 or 6 in each shade. And then let me go to the next photo. Then I took and did different shapes. On here is a little circular twist kind of thing. But I sent these to Mary so that she could see what I was doing with the Easter eggs. And I like this, like I told you, I edited, I didn't do all of the eggs with a pattern. And I like the restraint I showed. This was what I finally ended up when I tried orange. But I found mostly white, little touch of color. I was surprised how hard it was to get a true pastel. So that's what I did. And I used the little bottles with the metallic tip, and it made easy work. These are the ones that I just showed you that I have in the basket over here. And just, oh, I love this dress. I don't know why I saved that. I think just so that if I ever were to make a gown like that for me, I would be a happy girl. Okay, let me check real quick. I don't mean to waste your time, but this week I've been kind of adding some things here and there. And let me see. Nope, I know what I wanted to show you. Let me go back. Oh, and here, okay, just to real quickly show you. Here is where I saved all of the ideas of what are people doing this year to decorate for Easter. And so here, very quickly, I'm just going to run through and show you. I love that. That is just so cool. Look at this ombre. Oh my gosh. So pretty things, more ideas. Okay. Then there was one more thing. Let me go back one. When I was looking for what to do with how to make a pretty wreath for Easter, this picture popped up. Would somebody like to tell me what's wrong with this picture? I sat there and looked at this and went, who would be stupid enough to put a flammable item over a cooktop, and a gas cooktop at that? I said, you know what? I'm sorry. That is the dumbest idea, and they shouldn't even take a picture and put it in some magazine because somebody's going to do that. So every once in a while, I'm like, what are they thinking? So now let me go back to the photos. But, oh yeah, put a wreath right above, a fire. So now let me see. Miss Dolores, I need to check on her. I have not heard from Dolores. So I love this. This her Rapunzel quilt. This has got to be from some children's story. It's just lovely. Oh, I see too now that she's with the sewing, with thread painting, she's done nets for fishing. Oh, how cool. I love her eagle. Oh, look at this. Is that amazing? And remember, ladies, she did all of this with a broken knee and not being able to put any weight on her leg at all. So, and I've got to get with her and say, we want progress of your dragon quilt. This is where the dragon is going to be. And she's going to wire him to be 3D. So that will be fun. All right. Thank you, Miss Dolores. I need to get on everybody and say, more photos, more photos. Miss Jeannie, I just want to shout this out to Miss Jeannie. She's so sweet. I heard from her this week. And her eye's doing pretty good. They're still working on it. In fact, I need to catch up with Miss Bonnie and see how her eye is doing. So here we go to Miss Jody, who is extremely prolific and loved by us all. And look at this. She's doing the quilt show block of the month. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this was from. I apologize. But I love her design wall. That's what we should have, a segment. What's on Jody's wall? So I love this month. Oops, the pictures are kind of blocking it. There we go. She's got these two new pieces added. But this is the quilt show block of the month, and you can see why I would be way too intimidated to do this. But she is doing a beautiful job of it. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Miss Jody. And she also has in mind an addition to her Hall of Horror heroes. I tried on that one. I had to work hard on that one. But she does a beautiful group of the 1940s through 60s horror film heroes like Frankenstein and Dracula. Now here is Miss Kathy Klein's showpiece. Look at this. This, of course, as most of you will probably recognize, is an Aditya Sitar pattern. And isn't that beautiful? And look at her work. Isn't that amazing? Deb has too many things on her wall, Marcia. Too many half-done things. Jody makes progress. I kind of play at it. But isn't this beautiful, Kathy? This is wonderful, hon. Wonderful. Congratulations. You all see that beautiful blue ribbon right here. Yay. And it deserves it. The quilting is beautiful. The piecing is immaculate. Way to go, Miss Kathy. I love seeing stuff like that. Please, this week, send me your photos. And then Linda McCollum had this wonderful work. She is so well known for doing all of her hand embroidery. And she's just a true artist. Beautiful, beautiful, Miss Linda. All right, now let's see. Who is next? Let's see what, that's right. Miss Mary sent me some gorgeous pictures. So let's pull these up. All right, here is a small quilt she made. I love it. My hand's getting sore. My camera is not standing as straight up as it should, but my hand's sore now. So I'm going to take a break. It'll be a little bit crooked. All right. Look, she went to a botanical gardens and shared these beautiful pictures with us. Isn't that wonderful? Gosh, I love azaleas. When I lived in Norfolk, Virginia, we would have the Azalea Festival every spring. Now look at all of these tulips. Look at all the Wandering Jew. Look at the pansies. I mean, that is just gorgeous. And look at the purple of the Wandering Jew, the pink of the tulips, and then the yellow and burgundy of the pansies. There is so much color and colors you can put together that you didn't know. Back over here, it looks like orange and very pale yellow. Just beautiful. Thank you. Please feel free to share your photos of things like this, places you go. Not all of us are able to go and visit places like this, and if you share them with us, we feel like we get to go see them. Look at these beautiful, almost inky black tulips, then a bicolor tulip right here, and then look at all of these. And I think I've told you before that when you get the stripe in the tulip or any what they call break in color, it's because the original bulb got a virus. And the virus made it do that. And so then they made sure to replicate that bulb as many times as they could. Oh my goodness, look at these. Oh, that is so beautiful. Woo. Now, I know there's a name for this. I can't think. Parrot. I think I've heard them called parrot tulips, but if you know what that's called, please let me know. It's beautiful. So look at these gorgeous tulips, and look at that amazing azalea. You know, I've told you before that I studied the 16th or 17th century, the 1600s, because I worked for a museum, and they had a tulip mania in Denmark, and people were betting their entire family estates on one single bulb. People lost everything they owned if the tulip crop failed. So, but look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I admire tulips, but I don't grow them. They're too fussy for a Deb. So, but I love looking at them. Here is Mary's Easter egg, her Easter egg crazy quilt design. Isn't that wonderful? I love the fabric she chose, even a plaid. How cool is that? And then look what she did. Have you heard of the phrase gilding the lily? This is a perfect form of gilding the lily. She took and made flowers out of the fabrics. Look at this. That fabric is in this flower. This fabric is in these flowers. Then look at the little center she put in. What love and creativity. So this week, Mary gets our creative award. That is wonderful. And it makes me, oh gosh, that's cute. Beads. Those are beads on what is the center of the flower. It's like stamens. She used beads to make stamens. But I love it when I draw up a pattern. I love when you make it yours and you run with it. That there is no better compliment to me than when you make it yours. So Mary, I think you get this week's High Achiever Award. Melanie. Okay, I only got a few of these, and I'm sorry, I will get more. But here is a wonderfully complex piece she's working on. It has strip sets in the convex piece and then a solid in the concave. So can you see the arc and then the concave curve? And over here, you can see it again. Isn't this amazing? So I love seeing anybody that's working on curves. And look at this beautiful, I guess you would call it a table runner. That is gorgeous. I love the fabrics. I love the dark green. I love the batik. Very striking. Look at this. That's a lot of work. Beautiful. Ah, look at that. And look at this one she's working on. So isn't that pretty awesome? I love it. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Melanie. I'll get the rest of them downloaded, I promise. And Michelle, what do I have? Oh, I'm hoping Michelle's feeling a little bit better after the gardener chopped down all of her beloved plants. Michelle is an avid gardener. This broke her heart. But we're hoping that if the roots are intact, they'll all come back. So, Michelle, make sure you let us know during the season, hon, because that'll just break your heart. Okay, Mitty. Okay, Mitty, your job is to send us another photo of another project you've made, because this is so lovely, but I can't keep showing it, even though it makes me smile every time. So we need to get another picture from Miss Mitty. Got it? Got it. But isn't that the cutest? I love that. I'm hoping that she does other things with that sweet sense of humor. Okay. Miss Nadine has been busy. Here is her beautiful Unity candle that she made for Ukraine. And then here is her on her big red horse. God, he's beautiful. And you know what? She's pretty beautiful herself. She's learning dressage with him. He is exquisite. Look at that. Ah, beautiful. Hello, Miss Nadine. And Miss Nadine, I saw a rock group from Germany, and they were kind of scary. You probably know the group I'm talking about. Mark showed them to me. I said, okay, I don't want to see this anymore. It's too scary. Look at what Miss Polly is working on. Oh, man. I love all of that. Beautiful job, Miss Polly. Beautiful. And then here is her Storm at Sea with the bubbly fabric that really gives it motion. Way to go. All right. I think we might be about done. Yep, we're done for this week's photos. And now, once I turn up, I always push the wrong button. Today, after we're done on here, we're going to work on recovering my ironing board. And I'm going to read this book for my grandsons. I make a video reading the books and then send them. I make it unlisted, send them the link. And that way they get a little bit of Nana when they're a little too far away for me to see. I'm having a little trouble with the thought of driving on 95. So we're going to see if I feel like I can be brave enough to go see them soon. I love seeing them, but driving a long way on 95 is scary for me right now. That's the one problem about being in the house during the pandemic. So, yes, don't you love that book, Kim? I've been giving him all the books that I loved reading to them, or even some that were read to me. So, I love them. I love them. All right. So it is a smiling whale. Absolutely. Because Mitty, we love that whale. He's so cute, but I want to see more now of what you do. If you've got something for me. We never want any, I might tease you, but we never want you to feel pressured into, Deb said, send pictures. Oh no, I'm overwhelmed. So, all right. So I'm just going to kind of work on doing some ironing and some stitching. And anybody that would like a refresher of how you turn this piece and this piece into something that fits nicely, I will show you. Let me turn my iron on because it doesn't take very long to do it. And I'll show you. All right. Let me get down here. Any questions you have? Anything you'd like to say? Please ask. I'm right here. And this is a kind of relaxed, happy Easter. But I think I know how to do this. I need to loosen. Well, hold on just a second. Well, let me see. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Oh, well, I'm not able to get that loose enough, so I'll go down as fast, as low as I can. Let me see. I might be able to do this. There we go. Let's see. I think I can almost get it right. Goodness gracious. Okay. If I let go, yay, Deb. All right, I'll bring the light back over here. You spy a flamingo. You do. You do spy it. This is the sewing machine that just came back from the Stitchin' Magician in Lexington, North Carolina. If you live in close enough to Lexington, North Carolina, he is the best, absolute best repairman that I've ever dealt with. So this thing just practically purrs. All right. Now, what you do is you have this curved piece, because remember, I have that template that cuts it. If you want, you can take and fold it in half this way and just finger press or press it with an iron so that you know exactly where the middle is. And you can do the same thing to this piece and finger press so you know where the middle of this is. And you see, just finger pressing will leave a little indentation there. I'm trying to get, hold on a second. I want better lighting. Let me see if I can get some lighting plugged in. Okay. Right here. All right. Yeah, that's better. All right. So what I'm going to do is I always lay it out. Let me bring this up a little bit. Yeah. Whoops. No, maybe it doesn't want to go up. Let me tighten it just a touch. All right. So I've got this piece, and it's this curved piece, and I've got this. So I know I'm going to sew them right sides together. So I lay this over here, and it looks so weird. You think, this isn't going to work. Now see how I have this little piece at the edge? Well, the seam allowance is sticking up as far as that is. I'm just going to trim this off so I make sure I don't get a wonky seam. But I bring this right sides together to here. If you want to, you can take a glue stick, put a little dab of glue. Let me show you that. You can put a little dab of glue right there and press it together. Anything to just hold it nice and see how it holds. All right. Then I'm going to put it under the sewing machine needle. Well, let me see. I want to try to, I'm going to one day get a better way to figure this out. Okay. There we go. All right. So I've put it underneath the presser foot, and I very lightly use my hands just to make sure that the fabric is moved back and forth to make sure it stays lined up at my 1/4 inch mark right there. All right. Listen how quiet this machine is. I'm just so in awe of the job he did. It hasn't been this quiet in a long time. Isn't that nice? It's a dream, I'll tell you. So I'm just keeping these lined up. I don't push or pull. Just move them back and forth, line them up. And it's tricky at first, keeping them lined up, but then keeping them on the 1/4 inch mark. And that's important too. If you get off the 1/4 inch mark, you'll probably have to redo it. But you see how I just gently guide it. I'm not pulling or pushing. Gently guide it to make sure it stays lined up right here. And then just go nice and slow, because you save time going slow rather than having to pull out stitches and do it again. Okay, and I keep adjusting it, and sometimes you have to pull it this way a little bit so you don't get a tuck or pleat. You just keep gently holding it until it goes right under the presser feet. See that? Now, if you let go of the end, it would splay apart and you wouldn't have a beautiful finish. And I just take it from right here and I just kind of finger press it so the seam goes away. You got too many different seams coming together here, so you press it to go away. All right, now. Oh, you're making coffee. Well, make me some. I don't even like coffee, but I love the way it smells. Okay, here we go. So now I'm just going to bring it over here. And let me tell you, I really love my woolly mat. I really, really love it. It's like ironing both sides of your fabric at once. So there we go. And then these I'm going to line up and sew these together. And I like it that they don't match here. Now, I only put one pin on them at this point. I put the pin right where this border piece meets, because that's important. That's the only seam that has to match up. That's the only one. The only one. And then now because these are all different widths when they meet together. So I put these together like this, and then I bring them back over to the sewing machine. And up, bloop. Okay, try to come up a little bit here. All right. So I just bring them over here. I have this matched. Now, I've told you before, the very best way to make sure you have them matched perfectly so they won't move is to put a pin right below where the seam is you're matching, and then another one right above. I learned this from Alex Anderson. And there's even a way you put the pin perpendicular, but I don't think it's that hard for this one. So then I put it under the needle. Get my edges reasonably close. And stitch them. Whoops. Okay, make sure those seams go the right direction. This is where I need my bamboo stiletto. And this way, instead of putting my fingers too close to that needle, I'll just use bamboo. I like bamboo better than a wooden stiletto, because if the needle hits this, it most likely will not break the needle or throw off the timing of the machine. All right, so now I'm going to show you to see if we did a good job of matching the only seam that we had to worry about. There it is, and I think that's pretty darn good, don't you? And then you just decide which way. I think it wants to go this way. Now sometimes right here, this is a bit lumpy. This is a bit lumpy, so I'm going to take and trim the seam allowances right there, because we really don't need all that fabric. You go to try to quilt this, even on a long arm, and you hit that lump, it is going to hit pretty hard. Some people even take like a little hammer and gently hammer the fabric into submission. But what I did is, now that I've ironed it, I realize that I've ironed it to this side. I cut this seam down to 1/8 of an inch, and that will take out. See, it's a lot less bulky right there. Okay. So tell me some stuff about y'all. Yeah, it does add interest. Exactly. Who was that said that? Laura. Yes, it does add interest. I was explaining it to Mark, and he wasn't too sure, but I said the fact that I need to tighten these joints, I can tell I've loosened them a little. But I was telling him how that the fact that they're a little off does make them a lot more interesting. And even, let me grab one of these that I want to show you. Okay. this one, I had a bunch that didn't match. And so I kind of twisted the blocks so they would fit, make a circle, but they didn't match enough to do, because like this one, it's the same fabrics. They're just cut from a different area of the strip, which makes them a little more wonky. But with these, I didn't have the right mates, and I had used up the strip, because you can see it's kind of the same fabrics, but I cut them, instead of cutting mirror images, I cut all the same. So I just did these in a twist. And you know what? I like it. And normally I'm somebody who has to be very, what do you want to call it? Symmetrical. But this one I'm having fun with. And see, one like this right here, I have to be careful because this is the same fabric, but I cut only two of, I don't know whether you want to call them left facing or right facing. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with those. And then here, okay, yep. And this one has two different ones side by side. I don't know if I like this as much, but I'm loving, hey, whatever goes, whatever works. Now this, here we go. This is the same fabric, and these are going to be sewn together to make one planet. And I am loving this quilt. So now, if I'm going to sew these together, I have 2 extra pins to put in. Oh, I'm on camera. My camera is saying, oh, this is too much work. All right. So let me bring this down. So the pinning for this, let me bring it down a touch more. Okay. The pinning for this, okay, here is the bottom piece. Oops. Here's the bottom piece. Okay. This is going to be the top piece, okay? I need to pin right here where this background meets the thing. I need to pin right here so these seams line up, and I need to pin right here. Easy peasy. All right, and now I'll do this, and then after this, I think I'm going to go spend some Easter time with my mark, and this one I did not iron yet, but this has been fun. Thank you for sharing part of your Easter with me, and as soon as I get this sewn, then I think we are done. And then, you know what? I can go and pull my stash fabrics for my Alex Anderson neutrals. Now that's what I'm going to do. All right, so now I press this really good. Here we go. All right. So now I fold this right sides together and pin. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. It was great seeing y'all. Have a good, great rest of your day and a good week as well. It's always so good to see you, sweetheart. Just pin this. Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you for reminding me to thank my hostess with the mostest, Miss Marsha, our moderator. We love her to bits. So have a great rest of your Easter. Now these are pinned, and then I can just zip them up. Okay. All right. Y'all are all so sweet, and thank you for spending this time. I've got the best friends in the whole world, so thank you so much. All right. I'm trying to decide which way this seam should go. I think, let's see. I like to let the seams tell me which way they want to go, because I think they kind of sometimes, they know best. All right, so I went that way. Now I'm going to flip them over to the front side and do the final. Whoops. There we go. All right, so now I have another planet, and each one is very unique, but I love them. There we are. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and sharing part of your day with me. I'm very, very lucky to have you here with me. And we're doing the Easter Bunny Day, and with our yummy Easter basket. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Please take good care of yourself. You can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself first. Have a great week. And I'll see some of you Thursday and some of you next Sunday. Bye-bye, everybody. You're the best. Take good care. Thank you, Miss Marshall. You're the best.